So this is the second time that I'm recording this. The first time the mic picked up all the wind and you couldn't hear us talking. So second time's a charm, they say. We're gonna do the tractor tour, muscle tractor edition. We'll have a little bit of everything. So we're gonna have a lineup of John Deere's and Alice Chalmers and an International. So if you guys are interested in learning more about these tractors, then just keep watching. A little short video of that International last week and you guys blew it up and really wanted to see more, so that's the reason why we're doing this part 1 tractor tour. We do have other equipment obviously that you guys really want to see a tour of, but as you all know, it's December, we're in Minnesota, everything's put in storage and we just really don't want to have to pull it all out for that. So we'll do another one with all the other equipment when it warms up outside this spring. So you'll just have to stay tuned for that one. So I'm gonna be behind the camera. Mark, he's gonna be the one talking about all this stuff, right?
Fixing a trailer.
Oh, he's fixing a trailer, but you gotta stop fixing the trailer. We're gonna get going here.
Okay.
So where are we gonna start? Where should we start with the International?
Yeah.
So I do have a clip of the International being started yesterday when we filmed this. So it was outside, but now we moved the International inside. So if you see it being started outside, that's the reason why. So
it was a little breezy.
Yeah, and I didn't have the coontail on the mic, so it did not turn out good. So we're doing it again. All right.
Don't sound so depressed.
Well,
so we're doing it again.
It is kind of depressing because it takes time.
All right. This 1468 is a low production number tractor. If you don't know a lot about the Internationals or these tractors, I know a lot of guys watching the videos do know quite a bit about, you know, the older farm equipment. But if you're new to it, this is a factory V8 engine. This V8 engine was put in 1971, and they ran this from 71 to 74 with the V8. This was a engine that they put in to get them a few more horsepower, because in the late 60s or in the 60s and 70s they were doing the horsepower race just like in the cars. But anyway, this got them up to 145 horse. This engine dynoed out PTO at 145. So after we redid this tractor, we did have it at a farm show and down in Roseau, Minnesota, and we put it on a dyno there, and they didn't crank on it too hard, but they give it a workout, and it pumped out 150. So we're right in where we should be on that end of it. This was just to try boost horsepower. As far as a functionality, everyone knows that these engines were not a super great everyday use machine. They had problems with the bottom ends, the bearings. They're just a hard starting tractor in the winter, so you couldn't use them as chore tractors. They were just not as efficient and reliable as a inline 6. So like instead of the 1468, it means 8-cylinder, so it'd be a 1466 would have been the 6-cylinder. This model, this 1468, there were 2,900 of these tractors built from 1971 to 1974. So only 2,100 built. How many survived? I don't know. A lot of times when the engine did fail and it was a producer that needed to use, obviously wanted to keep the tractor, they'd pull the engine out and they'd put an inline in it. So a lot of them got switched over, and some just didn't make it, or they got parked in the weeds type thing. In the early 90s and late 80s, you could find these tractors, you know, if they'd come up for auction, nobody wanted them because they weren't a collector yet, and they weren't usable for like feed tractors or, you know, TMRs and just your like I talked about earlier, your livestock guys. And they were too small for your production ag guy. And so they were kind of just hanging out there. I mean, you could find these things, pick them up for $5,000. I mean, they weren't nothing. There was one that sold at the Meekum sale, correct? I'm not 100% sure as far as if it was last spring or last fall, or not this fall, but last fall. I can't remember. You can look it up, but there's one similar to this one. Very nice tractor, sold for $74,000. So they have went up in value quite a bit. It's just like anything, when they get more rare, harder to find. I'm a John Deere guy, but this is a fun tractor to drive. We did a little plowing with it and stuff like that. That's why some of the paint's gone on the drawbar. But we wanted to give it a little workout and see how it did.
You want to talk about what you did to this one?
Yep. Okay, so on this tractor, here's some of the things that we did. I'm not going to get all into the mechanics of what we did to it mechanically and all that. Just more aesthetics and what we did to make it look the way it looks. What I wanted to do is this is a tractor that is wide, husky. It's a muscle tractor, and we wanted it to have that appearance. So we went with these big 16L tires, and you cannot buy these tires and just put them on this tractor. So we had to buy rims, and then we cut the centers out of the rims and then pulled them out and put them in the other side, the different direction, drove them in, balanced them, and then re-welded them in to get our right offset. This tractor also did not have suitcase weights. We put these on. These suitcase weights right now, I think they sell for about $125 a piece for each one. That's about what they sell for. And if they're the actual IH ones. We put all new lights in it. It has a whole new wiring harness, and we'll touch on that a little bit later. But the wiring harness I'd have custom made for, since we're talking about the lights, for the dual fender lights. The open station tractors, when you buy fenders for them, or even the factory ones, had one light in the fender, and I just feel that it's kind of makes it look a little more robust, I guess, with a dual fender light system. It's got a new radiator. It's got a whole bunch of other new stuff. So on the exhaust side of it, I kind of wanted to keep the mufflers, the factory mufflers, with the heat shields and all that. It just gives it that nice shoulder look to it. The reason we didn't is I was able to buy the mufflers. I was able to get one heat shield, and I cannot get the heat shield for the other side. So there's nowhere you can get them. I bought some steel ones. I was going to send them up to Canada and get them dipped. To get chrome dipped right now, it's like 6-8 months out. It's crazy. And then it's very, very expensive. So what we did, and actually it turned out really good. I had to think about this a while, because now you used to be able to buy just this chrome pipe like this, and then it was tapered down, because this is a 3 1/4 inch cast iron elbow that comes out of here, and this is 4 inch. So to get that to work right, we had to buy a flange here, cut the flange off, and then what we did is we took a piece of steel and machined it down so there's a shoulder right here, and then we pressed and pounded with a block and rubber hammer this pipe onto this machine finish, so that way it was really tight. Like, it's not, you can't move it. That way too, we didn't need to have another clamp here, because then it gets messy. So and I really like the black on the bottom. Maybe I'm a little too detailed, but this is how we did it, and it worked out really nice. So yeah, it's not only just building these, it's to get everything true and straight, because anybody that knows, if you got dual exhaust on anything and one's crooked or this or that, it looks like crap. So these are absolutely perfect, straight, true, the whole works. We worked with a guy down south, Peterson Performance, IH guy, very knowledgeable. If you guys are looking for any type of IH stuff, he usually comes through. It ain't cheap, he gets you what you need. He sent these off, I give them to him, he sent these off to his chrome guy, and got these chromed and dipped, absolutely perfect. We use the same type of fasteners here and here. so everything went together good. We put new grease zerks on everything. It's just some of the little things. Another thing we had done, and we got it from Peterson Performance there, is these filters here. They are not the original filters, but these are decals that were made to go on filters. So we painted the filters white and put the decals on, and really makes it look nice. So the rear tires here are 710 metrics, 38-inch rims. I had it outside, that's why they're kind of dirty. But yeah, so it was a kind of a challenge to figure out how we were going to get the tractor to sit right pitch-wise. And so when we went with these tires, we had to find something that was going to match the width and the height, and that's why we went with the 16s up front. I guess another reason why we went with the bigger tires, you know, the other option was going to an 18, like a 20.8 38, and then put duals on it. We didn't really feel the need because we kind of wanted to showcase that it isn't a row crop tractor per se. It's got a row crop for an end, but it's got the wide swing drawbar, and that's the way it came factory. We didn't put it on. It's got a single PTO, 1,000 only. We didn't mess with that. I think a lot of these came with dual PTO. For some reason this one didn't. These are the dual tail lights, or the work lights that I was talking about. So when we had the wiring harness built for this thing, if you buy them online or buy them at a tractor place, they only come with one. So we wanted dual. I think it completes how it looks. As far as detail and stuff like that, we went as far as getting a new tag made, and then we had it lasered at a place that does like trophies and plaques and stuff like that. So they took it and lasered it in. So you can check that out, zoom in on that. So like I said earlier on this tractor, it did have a cab when we got it. And I think I have some old pictures of when this tractor, when I did pick it up. I'll have Stephanie, you know, put them in for you. But this tractor, since it had a cab on it, came with a hydraulic seat, tilt steering wheel, and which is quite nice. But the hydraulic seat, since it had a cab on it, didn't have this shroud right here. And that is really, really, really hard to find. Otherwise, all you got is a square bottom here, and it just looks so unfinished. Peterson Performance came through on that. Here, I'll take you up and we can look at the dash. So if you're sitting on the tractor, this is what it looks like. Pretty beefy up there. Them big tires are pretty awesome. So anyway, it's got all new gauges. This is the original tack. I didn't have to have it redone at all because it was in a cab tractor, so everything is crisp and nice and works well. New gauges there. So yeah, it is a very, very fun tractor to drive. So these had a little play in them too, so we just tighten them up. TA works, everything works as it should.
Okay, start her up.
Take them for a ride or what?
Yeah, go ahead. You can take them for a ride and show them it.
Okay. All right. Well, here we go.
gonna move on. We're gonna move on outside and we're gonna show you the John Deeres and Alice.
Out we go. I had to get it outside for you. So we'll start with this one here. We'll start with the little guy. Oh, he's not little. All right, so this tractor is a 1972 4320. They made them from 71 to 72 before they went to the 30 series after that. So this tractor rates horsepower at 115 horse. What this tractor was designed for from John Deere, the 4320 was an in-between the 4520, which we'll show you, and the 4020, which we'll show you. This is the in-between horsepower. They were trying to fill a horsepower gap. So a lot of guys say it's a 4020 with turbo. There's a little more to it than that, but it's a very, very nice tractor. This tractor, when it was new in 1972, sold for around 12,500, somewhere in there, and they're still bringing that now. This tractor is what I feel a good investment. It is something that's not really going to ever depreciate, in my opinion. It's got the new hydraulics, the nice seat. I mean, this is a very usable tractor for many, many years to come. You know, it's not like the two cylinders that kind of, you know, they're getting to the point where they don't have a lot of uses other than, you know, just driving them around. Don't get me wrong, guys, there's still guys out there like to plow with them and stuff like that. I'm just saying that as far as you know, working, something that you want to use a little bit around the farm, box blade, auger, you know, there's some more uses for a tractor like this. The tractor itself has got, let's see here. Here, I'll show you the hours on it. This tractor has got around 6,000, that's weird, 6,660 and a half. Synchro range transmission, and then it's got the side console. So these fenders are John Deere fender. They are primered right now. We are going to strip the tractor down, and the plan is to rebuild the engine on it and just go through it front to black, split it, the whole works. And then once we paint it, we will we'll paint these, but they're kind of ugly right now, but they're just you know, they're just primered, and we're going to leave it like that until we actually get to the whole project. I did add these, bought these. We got a few more sets, bought them on a John Deere dealership, sold out and closed. And same with the rear weights in the back, put them on. So it's set up fairly nice. The tractor itself, this tractor, the 4320s do have the 540 PTO and 1,000, so that's nice. The smaller model, the 4020, also has got a dual PTO option, but the 4520s, the 4620s, and I'll explain that later, they only came with 1,000 PTO. Why? I'm not really sure, but that kind of hurt the resale on some of them back in the day.
Okay, I'll give you a little 360 of this one.
This is a 4520, so not super crazy rare, but it is a low model, low production number tractor. For the reason this 4520 is different than other 45s is it is a power shift. They built this tractor from 1969 to 1970, 2-year run. The 4520 was the first John Deere engine that was turbocharged. And they had some design flaws with it. The engine itself is a good engine. It's just that when they went from a 4520 to a 4620 in 1970, and they ran the 4620 from 1971 to 1972, they had an intercooler and they changed a few things on it. Great tractor. But this tractor here, this 4520, a 2-year production run, they built 7,800 of these tractors, which only 15 or 1,600 of these tractors were power shifts. And that was back then, so how many power shifts are still out there? I don't know, but it ain't a lot. They got a heck of a heavy duty front end on them. They are a very usable tractor. This tractor's got a cab on it. We plan on taking the cab off. I like our tractors, especially our muscle tractors. I like them with no cab on them. It just reminds me of when I was a kid and we were plowing with an 1850 Oliver, and just being in the open station, I just enjoy it more than being in a cab. Plus, it's a lot of extra little things to get right if you want to really have a nice cab. So we'll pull this off. We'll leave the roll guard on it. They got a factory roll guard in the cab, and then we'll fix this one all up and get it so it's like new. Somebody has already been into the engine. They've completely went through it. This tractor, when it was sold new, actually the sticker's still here. It came out of Canada, as you can see. It came out of Winnipeg, Canada. There's a dealership there. I don't know exactly what it was called. So anyway, this sticker here says John Deere Limited, Winnipeg, Manitoba, and then a subsidiary of Deere and Company. So I don't know exactly what that means, if it was built up in Canada or if it was kind of a hub for them or something. But anyway, yeah, this tractor here, I'll show you, these are original hours on it. I think it's around 6,000 hours. Don't mind the cab, it's kind of nasty. We're gonna get all that taken care of one day. Yeah, so I guess this one's got more hours. It's got 9,600 hours on it. So that'd probably be why the engine's been overhauled. But there's your power shift transmission. You can tell it's been a field tractor. It's never had a loader on it because this isn't all completely wore out. You know, the slide here and everything's pretty straight. There's your dual hydraulics, and yeah, that's your PTO. There you go. You
Okay.
wanna see if it starts?
Yeah, might as well give it a try.
Okay. As you can tell, it doesn't hardly smoke or nothing, so they've been into it. So this is what I'm talking about here in the back. This tractor, some of these 4520s, they came with 3-point, obviously PTO. This is the standard 1000 PTO that all of them had, but for some reason this one didn't have 3-point option on it. It just has the wide swing drawbar. So yeah, that's kind of unusual to have a wide swing drawbar and a power shift transmission. So this isn't the first 4520 I've had. I also had a 69 model 4520 synchro shift that I restored. Oh, this is probably 5 years ago now, and sold that to a guy down in San Antonio, Texas. So these tractors really move around. I didn't touch base with it earlier, but on the 1468, that's the second one we've had on the farm here. And last winter, we sold an original to a guy out in California. So they really move around. Okay, so this here, this is a 4440. This isn't really considered a muscle tractor anymore. This tractor here is a kind of like a 4020. There was a ton of them built, but they sold really good. And if you don't have one, typically guys want them. This tractor has got 6,200 original hours. We purchased this tractor just this year from a landowner that we farm his land now. He didn't have any use for it. He used it to mow a CRP, and then before that he had a small dairy, and they'd used it for a little bit of hay and maybe, and it pulled a little cultivator and a drill, and that was about it. That's all it did. We feel it's just a good investment, like these other ones here. you're not going to ever lose money on them. They just hold their value really good, and if you can use them around the farm a little bit, that's just an added bonus. Tractor itself is set up pretty nice. It's got the hub duals. It's got good rubber on it, and it's got dual PTO, or not dual PTO, but you got an option just like any other 4440, and 3-point. But I'll show you the cab here. So you can come in the cab here, and you can see it's not all tore up for original, and the gears are like the shifting pattern here is just crisp and sharp and not rounded off or nothing. So it hasn't had a loader on it. It's been very, there's original hours, 6,200 hours. So this is a 1978 model. Quad range transmission like this sold for around 38,000 bucks. And if this was a power shift transmission in this tractor back in when this tractor was selling new, would have been about 45,000. So it's quite a jump there just for the two different transmissions. They built the 4440 from 1978 to 1982. Nebraska test, the 4440 is about 130 horse. That's what they rated them at.
Okay, so next we will take you in our three-sided shed here and show you a couple more.
So this tractor here is a family tractor, and it's also got some uniqueness to it too, so that's kind of cool. But this tractor was purchased, it was a couple years old, or a year old roughly, by my dad's grandfather, which would be my great-grandpa. And he'd picked this one up out in the Red River Valley. I believe it was a farm auction, is from what I was told. They used it on the farm over in Greenbush there for many years. And this tractor did have a loader on it. They put a loader on it. So it did moved a lot of hay and stuff like that. He ran pull-type combine with it. So it's done a lot of work over the years. On the history of this tractor now, or the D19 history, from what I've read, Allis-Chalmers is the first company to put a turbocharger on an engine in the agricultural arena. So this is Allis-Chalmers' first tractor that had a turbocharger, much less any other ag tractor in the country. It is factory straight pipe. I wish I could start it for you because it sounds pretty mean. It whistles, she screams. But this tractor for back in the day was pretty powerful. The engine horsepower on this tractor from 1961 to 64 is when they were built, was about 86 horse. That's engine horsepower, not PTO, so I think it was around 60 some PTO horsepower. But with the turbo on it, it would pull more than a tractor that with the same horsepower rating naturally aspirated. These tractors, there was about, from what I've read, about 10,000 built, I believe, not of D19s now. How many diesels were actually built with the turbo, the diesel turbocharged Alice was not a very high number. They don't have it in, I haven't found the actual build number, but I know it's quite a bit less. So the reason that they didn't have a huge production run either on these is because a lot of guys were very, very skeptical on whether that engine was going to hold together. Naturally aspirated engines, which means non-turbo, they just suck the air in and into the engine without a turbo. That's how things have been forever until they came out with these turbocharged engines, and guys were very hesitant, put it that way. So they didn't have a huge production run. So like I said, the D19 is the first turbocharged tractor, and the 4520 that I showed you, that was John Deere's first turbocharged engine. So this one here, in 1964, on the last year they were built, they were selling for around 6,000 bucks. So there's a slogan on these tractors, or the Alice brand, was more work, less sweat. So that's kind of their little claim to fame, kind of like the John Deere's had.
Yeah, kind of like John Deere, how they have the run like a deer.
Yep. So yeah, it's a little heritage for us, and we're gonna keep this one and get it all fixed up really nice, split it, do everything it needs, and hope to get this one done so my dad's dad, my grandpa, can see it and enjoy it a little bit. So anyway, this tractor here is a 1972 4020. They were built from 1964 to 1972. This is the last production year of this tractor. What makes this tractor a little more unique than other 4020s is it has a power shift transmission. And it's got side console. They put the side console in. Side console's the side hydraulics. The earlier ones had it on the dash. The side console tractors were built from 1971 to 72. So last 2 years of the production run, they had a side console hydraulics. So which really makes this tractor kind of a sought after tractor. For one, it's a last year production. Number two, it's a side console. Number three, it's a power shift. This tractor will get the full gamut. When we get it in the shop one day, it's going to get split, overhauled, the whole works, paint, the whole kit and caboodle. This tractor, and I guarantee you, will never lose value. This tractor will be worth more 10 years from now than it is right now even. There's just a lot of guys still using these tractors. There were a huge production number on these machines. So the 4020s aren't rare, it's just that they're a very usable tractor. Not saying there's other tractors out there that aren't, but of this size, but this tractor is a very usable tractor, and it was a super high production run, but which, like I said, the power shift last year was built really makes this tractor something unique. This tractor was purchased just down the road. Dairy farm had it. They'd used it from baling hay to run a manure pump to a lot of stuff. I was fortunate enough to buy it off of another guy. It's going to be a fun project when we get to that point. So this tractor here, there's the power shift. It's never had a loader on it. There's your side console. There's the original hours. So it's got some hours on it. It's showing 1,590 some, so I'm sure it's got 11,000 hours. But once we overhaul it and get her so she's like new, it'll be a really nice tractor.
All right, so that concludes our collectible tractor edition. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and if you did, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and if you want to know any more information about the tractors that we showed today, just leave a comment down below. I will get to them as best as I can. And that's all for today, and we'll see you guys next week.